My stomach churns just thinking about it. I never thought my childhood would turn into a true crime story, but here we are. It all started with Grandma's cookies. My sister Lily and I were ecstatic when Mom announced we were spending a week with Grandma. Mom needed a break, and Grandma lived in a charming, if slightly creepy, Victorian house in the woods. Grandma was, well, she was Grandma. Sweet, always baking, and a little bit off. We arrived on a sunny Saturday. The house was even more imposing in person. Ivy crawled up the walls, and the windows seemed to stare. Grandma greeted us with a smile and a plate of warm cookies. Chocolate chip, she announced, her voice a little too high-pitched. Your favorites. Lily and I devoured them. They were delicious, of course. Grandma's cookies always were. The first few days were idyllic. We explored the woods, played board games, and ate Grandma's cooking. She told us stories about her life, tales filled with strange details and unsettling silences. Little things, like how she always locked the shed, or how she had a lot of pets that didn't last long. We brushed it off as eccentricities. Then things started to feel wrong. It started with small things, our favorite toys disappearing, the dog next door started barking at her. One night, we heard her talking on the phone in a hushed tone, mentioning a problem and taking care of it. We were young, maybe 8 and 10. We didn't understand the full implications, but a sense of dread settled over us. We started sleeping with the lights on, huddled together in our room. One afternoon, Lily found a strange box in the attic. It was filled with old newspaper clippings. The headlines were chilling. Local man missing, unsolved mystery, body found in woods. And there, in the corner of each article, was a small, familiar name. Agnes Blackwood. Grandma's name. We didn't say anything to Grandma. We were too scared. We tried to subtly bring up the articles, but Grandma would shut us down. Oh, those old things? Just a coincidence, dearie. Her smile never reached her eyes. One evening, we were watching TV when the power went out. Grandma went to check the fuse box, leaving us alone in the dark. We heard a crash from downstairs. We crept to the top of the stairs and peered down. Grandma was standing over something, a glint of metal in her hand. We couldn't see what it was, but we knew it wasn't good. We scrambled back to our room, hearts pounding. We locked the door and huddled under the covers. We didn't know what to do. Suddenly, Lily's phone buzzed. It was a text from Mom. Run, now. Don't look back. We didn't hesitate. We knew, somehow, that Mom knew. We grabbed our backpacks, which we always kept packed, just in case. We crept out the window and into the woods. We ran. We ran as fast as our little legs could carry us, through the dense forest, the darkness swallowing us whole. We didn't know where we were going, only that we had to get away. We could hear Grandma calling our names, her voice echoing through the trees. It was the most terrifying sound we'd ever heard. We stumbled, tripped, and fell, but we kept running. We had to. After what felt like an eternity, we saw a faint light in the distance. We ran towards it, our hope renewed. It was a small, dilapidated cabin. We pounded on the door, screaming for help. An old woman with kind eyes opened the door. She looked at us, saw our terrified faces, and ushered us inside. She gave us water and blankets and let us hide in her home. The old woman, whose name was Martha, called the police. They arrived quickly, sirens wailing in the night. We told them everything. The police went to Grandma's house. They found her, but she had vanished. The house was a mess. There were signs of a struggle. And there were more clues, more evidence that pointed to a dark and disturbing truth. The next few days were a blur of police interviews, social workers, and the overwhelming fear of what had happened. Mom flew in and held us, sobbing. The police eventually found Grandma. She had been hiding in a remote cabin, attempting to flee the country. They arrested her. The investigation uncovered a horrifying pattern. Grandma, Agnes Blackwood, was a serial killer. She had been murdering people for decades, preying on those who crossed her path. Her victims were buried in the woods surrounding her house. The evidence was overwhelming. Grandma was a monster. But the story wasn't over. The police found us and the cabin. They told us that Grandma had been planning to kill us. She had poisoned the cookies. The only reason we survived was because the poison was old, and it only made us sick. We spent months in therapy, trying to process the trauma. We had nightmares. We were constantly afraid. We were lucky to be alive. The legal battle began. We sued Grandma for everything she had. We wanted justice, but we also needed to secure our future. The trial was grueling. We had to testify, relive the horrors, and face the woman who had tried to kill us. Grandma, of course, maintained her innocence, her sweet facade cracking under the weight of the evidence. The prosecution presented their case, the newspaper clippings, the missing persons reports, the bodies found in the woods, and our testimony. The defense tried to paint Grandma as a misunderstood old woman, but the jury wasn't buying it. The evidence was too strong. The jury deliberated for hours. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. Finally, the verdict came, guilty. Grandma was sentenced to life in prison. We felt a sense of relief, but the scars remained. We would never be the same. The legal battle continued. We sued for emotional distress, medical expenses, and the cost of therapy. We wanted to ensure that Grandma would never benefit from her crimes. The lawsuit dragged on for years. We faced setbacks, delays, and legal challenges. But we persevered. We had to. We were awarded a significant settlement. It wasn't about the money, but it helped us rebuild our lives. We moved to a new city, changed our names, and tried to leave the past behind. We went to therapy, worked through our trauma, and slowly began to heal. Lily and I are now adults. We have successful careers and supportive partners. We are living proof that you can survive the unthinkable. We still think about Grandma, about the cookies, about the house in the woods. It's a part of our story, a part of who we are. We learned a valuable lesson. Appearances can be deceiving. Never trust anyone blindly, no matter how sweet they seem. We also learned the importance of family, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. We survived. We're stronger than we ever thought possible. And we will never, ever eat a chocolate chip cookie again. Looking back, there were so many red flags. The missing pets, the locked shed, the hushed phone calls. You were children. We didn't know what to look for. But Mom knew. Mom always knew. She saved our lives. So that's my story. The story of Grandma's cookies, the killer in the woods, and the day we almost died. It's a story of survival, of justice, and of the enduring bond between sisters. And it all started with a plate of chocolate chip cookies.